So let's have a look at some maybe slightly more experimental uses of dynamics processing on our reverb. So same track, and we've got just the drums playing here. Again, I'm using the drums because they're very dry, so it's quite easy to show it off. And it can be quite clear on the drums. Sometimes with some of the other sounds, we've got some effects built, kind of baked in, so it's a bit easier to work with the drums here. So we've got Valhalla Room, again, playing. Let's try a different algorithm. Let's try a large chamber. Okay, so... Okay, let's make it a little bit less subtle. Okay, so the first one is we can use upwards compression. Now, I've done a whole video series on this principle, but upwards compression means we're compressing the dynamic range, but we're not turning down the loudest parts, we're turning up the quietest parts. So what we do is leave it on compressed, but turn the range up. And now the threshold is going to determine, are we bringing up the very quiet parts, or are we starting to bring up basically everything? And this is just working on the reverb, remember, so this could be quite an interesting effect. Let's try it out. Listen to all that detail being brought up. So if we go low with the threshold, we're just bringing up the very quiet parts. Let's put it to linear phase, and let's try and dial this in parallel and see if we can get something interesting going. Let's try bringing back the decay time bit. Okay, let's try in a mix.
Thank you for the frequency. Different kind of energy. Thank you for the frequency. Different kind of energy. Thank you for the frequency.
So quite an interesting effect. It's great for anytime you want to bring detail out of a sound. Yeah, try this upward compression technique. Okay, so let's have a look at another idea now, and this is like the opposite of doing the sidechain compression. So rather than turning down frequencies when the kick plays, we can actually use upward expansion to basically boost frequencies based on a sidechain input. Now the sidechain input in this case is going to be the overall drums. And let's create a couple of little areas that we're going to work with. Okay, and we're going to go expand. Let's go extreme, so we're going to set quite a big range here. Expand on the top, set the range here as well. Expert mode, we need to make this external. We need to make this external for the lower band as well. And we can audition what it's listening to. Let's just solo this for now. So let's just solo the drums here. So that's what it's listening to as its trigger, essentially. So we'll take it off audition. So now what's going to happen is the reverb is going to be pumping based on this sidechain input. And it's going to be pumping upwards in volume. Okay, so let's actually bring the drums in on side. Okay, let's just play with the release time. So you can hear all those lows being added there. Okay, let's go with the highs. A linear phase, oversampling. That's no processing. Okay, you get the picture. So we can basically bring up, I'm just going to change the release a bit less of those low frequencies. So now we're turning up the reverb when the drums play. Let's try it in the mix and see how we're feeling about it. Pretty cool. It definitely adds a kind of extra dimension to the groove there. You could try this with different decay times on the reverb. Okay, let's compare it to the sidechain compressor and also no compression. That's the sidechain. That's the expansion. And that was no reverb. So yeah, it's not going to make or break the track, I wouldn't say, but it's another technique that you can try out. So as well as sidechain compression to be able to duck things and create a rhythmic effect, you can try upwards expansion and also upwards compression in the previous example to bring out the detail, upwards expansion to create kind of an interesting rhythm to the drums because we're actually boosting the reverb when the drum transients are detected. So that's another tip. Let's head into another video. So see you then. Thanks for watching.